Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on stratification and differentiation. In this video we're going to look at the work of Helen Wilkinson and the Genderquake. Helen Wilkinson's No Turning Back, Generations and the Genderquake explores the profound societal shifts brought about by the changing roles and perceptions of gender. The book delves into the historical context, key drivers and consequences of what Wilkinson termed the Genderquake, a seismic transformation in gender relations impacting various facets of life, including the workplace, family structure, and personal identity. Wilkinson examined a historic overview of gender relations, outlining how the traditional roles assigned to men and women had evolved, especially since the mid-20th century. In the aftermath of World War II, there was a significant increase in women entering the workforce, which marked the beginning of a substantial change in gender dynamics. The feminist movements of the 1960s and 1970s further catalysed these shifts by challenging established norms and advocating for equality in various spheres, including employment, education, and politics. Wilkinson identifies several key drivers behind the genderquake. Firstly, economic factors. Economic necessity has driven more women into the workforce. The decline of single-income households and the rising cost of living have made dual-income families more common. Additionally, shifts in the economy, particularly the move towards service-orientated industries, have opened up more opportunities for women in the workplace. Secondly, technological advances. Technological progress has facilitated greater flexibility in work, enabling more women to balance professional and domestic responsibilities. Innovations such as the internet and telecommunications have allowed for more adaptable work arrangements. Thirdly, educational attainment. Increased access to education for women has been a significant factor. Higher education levels have enabled women to pursue careers and compete more effectively in the job market, leading to greater economic independence and empowerment. And finally, cultural shifts. Cultural attitudes towards gender roles have evolved. There is a growing acceptance of women in leadership positions and a broader recognition of gender equality as a fundamental right. Media representations of women and men also play a role in reshaping public perceptions. One of the primary areas affected by the genderquake is the workplace. Wilkinson discussed how traditional male-dominated industries have had to adapt to the influx of female employees. This has led to changes in workplace policies such as the introduction of maternity leave, flexible working hours, and anti-discrimination laws. Companies have had to re-evaluate their organisational cultures to become more inclusive and supporter of gender diversity. Moreover, the genderquake has challenged the traditional career trajectory, which often assumed a linear progression uninterrupted by family responsibilities. Women have brought new perspectives to management and leadership, emphasising collaboration, empathy and work-life balance. These changes are gradually influencing broader organisational practices and expectations. The transformation in gender roles has also profoundly impacted on family structures. Wilkinson highlights the increased prevalence of dual career families and the decline of the traditional instrumental and expressive roles. This shift has necessitated a renegotiation of domestic responsibilities, with more men taking on active roles in parenting and household chores. The concept of personal identity has also evolved. Women in particular have navigated the complexities of balancing professional aspirations with societal expectations of motherhood and caregiving. Wilkinson discusses the psychological and emotional challenges that come with these dual roles, as well as the sense of empowerment and fulfillment that many women derive from their careers. Wilkinson also emphasised the importance of understanding the genderquake through a generational lens. Different generations have experienced and contributed to these changes in varied ways. For example, baby boomers were at the forefront of the feminist movements, while Generation X and millennials have grown up in a world where gender equality is more widely accepted, though still imperfectly realised. Younger generations, particularly millennials and Generation Z, are often more vocal and proactive about gender issues. They tend to advocate for more inclusive and equitable practices in both their personal and professional lives, and these generational shifts suggest that the momentum towards gender equality is likely to continue, driven by a more progressive and egalitarian youth. Despite the significant progress, Wilkinson also acknowledges that the Genderquake has faced resistance and challenges. Entrenched patriarchal structures and cultural norms continue to hinder complete gender equality. Issues such as the gender pay gap, underrepresentation of women in leadership roles, and persistent gender stereotypes remain prevalent. Wilkinson also addresses the backlash against feminist movements, noting that progress towards gender equality is often met with opposition from those who feel threatened by these changes. This resistance highlights the ongoing struggle for true equality and the need for continued advocacy and policy reforms. Wilkinson asserts that the genderquake is an irreversible phenomenon with far-reaching implications for society. The changes in gender dynamics are reshaping not only individual lives but also institutions and cultural norms. She calls for a sustained commitment to gender equality, emphasizing that true progress requires both structural changes and a shift in societal attitudes. Wilkinson's No Turning Back Generations and the Genderquake provides valuable insights into the economic, cultural and personal dimensions of the genderquake, highlighting both the progress made and the challenges that remain. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on stratification and differentiation, focusing on the work of Wilkinson and the genderquake. Thanks for watching.